From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In this recording, we go over the breaking news as Joe Biden in that State of the Union address said the incredible Build Back Better Act is passing and all those incredible checks are going out. Those checks include $15,000 to $60,000 checks for you. But what about a check sooner? CR for Stimulus 1.0. I have breaking news about that today. As Joe Biden is trying to take some of your CR stimulus money? Oh, Joe, come on already. I have all these details across the land. And then we look back at the butter and top is doing on Mornings LA for CR for Stimulus 2 and 3.0. And then the exciting details of SS300. That'll raise your balance up if you are on SSI and SSDI. And the incredible comments that came in from your head of the Federal Reserve, Jay Powell, yesterday, that signals the perfect time to raise your balance up before inflation going down. Then we'll be looking at the situation unfolding overseas with Vladimir Putin and his acts of aggressions against Ukraine. We'll be looking at what happened last night on Evenings LA. What's a preview of tonight's recording as well? It's a 1 hour special report on Evenings LA. You don't want to miss the latest on Ukraine. And then we'll be looking back at the big situation unfolding with oil and gas. It's changing by the minute. And a breaking news as there's an opportunity to get more gas into the system and bring the price down. Can be effectuated? I have the details on that. Then we look at the big money that you get for rent and utilities, and you need it. Because gasoline inflation is going out of control. I'll show you new success stories overnight. As viewers have listened and learned and gotten $5, $10, $50, $20,000 this week, it's your opportunity to get those big sums of money. We have a lot of breaking news as the CR for Stimulus heading to the finish line. The Build Back Better Act also heading to the finish line. And the situation unfolding with oil and gas and inflation overnight. We'll have a preview of why another industry is at issue tonight. Vladimir Putin's acts of aggressions continue well off. Those details and more on a big morning broadcast. The excitement starts right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you are good and safe. Hope you having a beautiful day and the weather is good where you are. We'll be looking back at the situation in Ukraine and have an update about the sad situation in Gershon. An update from Evenings LA broadcast last night. And then we'll have a preview of what's happening tonight with the city of Odessa. Meantime, we'll be looking at the refugee situation over in Poland later in this recording. But first, we'll go into your big money for stimulus. And the President of the United States reassuring the American people during the State of the Union address that all those incredible checks in the Build Back Better Act are happening. But is the President trying to take some of your money in CR for Stimulus 1.0? Joe, do you dare? I'm just starting my recordings for the day. I have some extra bacon. Well, actually, I don't. I have some extra coffee. Can you take the coffee instead? I'll go over what Joe is trying to do with some of your CR for Stimulus money. And guess what? I winked about it yesterday. I thought he was being facetious. I guess he isn't. But don't worry, because I don't think it's going to happen. Then we'll be looking at SS300, the opportunity to raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, and the great news that came in from Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, who's dealing with inflation, but you don't want him to deal with inflation too strongly before your benefits are tied to it. And then we'll be looking at the big money that you can get right from today and viewers cleaned up overnight. It's third stimulus, and I'll show you those incredible success stories. But first, let's go into the big money. And the big money at issue is Build Back Better. The President of the United States during the State of the Union address this week said that Build Back Better will pass, and he wants all those incredible checks to go out. Build Back Better Act is also called the Fourth Stimulus Recon. It has 3 cluster checks and 3 add-ons. Let's look at each of those clusters and everything that's in there. And we'll also look at the checks that were actually mentioned by the President of the United States during the State of the Union address. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. 3 clusters, 3 add-ons. And the first cluster And all those incredible clusters add up to about $15,000 to $60,000 of checks. Let's look at the first cluster. In that first cluster, had to pay, got in there, staying in there. For my essential workers. Third stimulus, broaden it, staying in there, going out. Then $4,000 of care. $4,000 of care for you young children. They got the $3,600 CTC check in there for young children. The home repairs if you live in a low-income community. And then the Pell Grant, $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle, as well is among the other checks the president mentioned during the State of the Union address. And that is the first of three clusters of checks in the Build Back Better Act that the president shared with the American people is becoming law. Now, the first add-on of checks comes from here in the beautiful shores of Santa Monica. You're looking at our beautiful beaches here in Santa Monica, California, live today along the coast here in California. The first add-on comes from a legislator who lives here. At least $25,000 for the purchase, approximately $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow. This is money that will be given to the seller in your name at the time of escrow by the federal government. $25,000. Can you imagine how incredible that is? Yes, that's the first of three add-ons of checks to the Build Back Better Act that the president reassured the American people during the State of the Union address is going to get passed. Let's look at that second cluster of checks starting right now. Paid leave, also mentioned by the President of the United States during the State of the Union address, happening. Paid leave is if after to stay home from work due to sickness or illness across the land. How much does it pay? A lot, folks. $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $35,000 annual salary, $400 a week. And there you go. W-2, 1099, you all get that money. If you don't work or son or daughter does work, they're going to get the check as well. There's also home repairs to weatherize your home. Well, guess what? The second add-on of checks is actually not law yet, and surprisingly has never been law, but thank goodness it's going to be. $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Wow. This was a Joe Biden campaign promise, and it got in there via Bob Casey. Second of three add-ons of checks to the Build Back Better Act. Let's go into that third cluster of checks, starting right now. Free internet for all checks. Now, if you need free internet right now, reach out to the volunteers of the community page. They're featured in the commercial break coming up in just a second. They can help you get that right now. But the seniors, lots of checks for them. They got farmers checks, independent contractors checks, free school meals for all checks. And then when we look at the seniors, their checks were mentioned by the President of the United States also during the State of the Union address. Some on the House, some on the Senate. On the House side, they got the Medicaid gap fix, and then they got in there the hearing check. But on the Senate side, they vowed to add in their dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare from 65 to 55, which is par for the course when senators vow to add checks to the recon, because guess what? They vow to add in there MSC. MSC is monthly IRS stimulus checks, and these are among the checks that would be added to the Build Back Better Act that the President of the United States said to the State of the Union address, he wants them all to go out. So what is MSC? These are checks that would be added to the recon that already has $15,000 to $60,000 of checks in there for you. But these are more checks, adult, automatic checks, that come to people like a third stimulus check. Legislators representative of thousands of viewers of this channel that would pay the same eligibility as third. So let's recap who got a third and who would get a fourth. Third individual, fourth individual, let's go over it right now. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. Double it, says the legislators. Family of four, you get it as well, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits, you'd also get it. It's not income. It ain't taxable. It ain't California stimulus. We get electric surfboard instead. And it goes off the most recent tax return. If that had direct deposit, that's how you get paid. And to that one viewer said, my fiance says I have to return it back after you get it. No, but you can consider returning the engagement ring. There's still a 30-day return policy on that one. How much are we talking about? We're talking about $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months. Wow, that's incredible. And that is one of the provisions that would be added to the Build Back Better Act that the President of the United States represents will get passed in that State of the Union address. Now, what is the opportunity to get you a check sooner than even Build Back Better Act? Well, the opportunity sooner is, of course, CR for stimulus. CR for stimulus created by this channel in 2020 made history, and we brought back 4 weeks ago. But I have brand new details about that today. And the brand new details about that today is Joe Biden's trying to take some of your CR for stimulus money. Does he dare? Come on, Joe. We've already gone through this before. Let's go over the latest details on that. A continuing resolution is also called a CR, and it has an inherent deadline right now of early March. The situation is unfolding very well until, 5 minutes ago. No, I'm just being kidding. The continuing resolution has $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds, the result of negotiations between Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate, over several weeks. And last week, I told you that everything was lined up until Joe Biden said, I want some of that money. Well, the senator said, no, you're not having it. Then I said to you 2 days ago that during the State of the Union address, the president said, I'm going to come back and ask some more money. I said, I think he's watching this channel. I think he's trying to take that money again. And they said no. Well, guess what? What did he say today? I'll get to that in just a second. But first, let's go over what a continuing resolution is. Because a continuing resolution is a very simple body of legislation that takes just days to do because it's small. And in this case, it is to fund the federal government, done every 3 to 6 months. And it's very easy. Bipartisan support, $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds. And Nick was a creation of this channel back in 2020. In 2020, we had gotten our first stimulus check. We used it up. We needed more money. And so we were told there was a second stimulus package in the works, but 11 months of negotiations went on and we didn't get anything. So I came up with the idea, the creation of this channel myself, to put a stimulus check in a continuing resolution. I called it CR for stimulus. I created it. And the reason why is because the CR is bipartisan support, quick deadline, fast turnaround time, easy, small bill, not a package. And you made history, Purple Power, the community of this channel, by advocating for it so vigorously. Guess what? We together made history. The $600 stimulus check that went into the continuing resolution became law. Millions of Americans got that $600 stimulus check in December 2020. And what also happened, second stimulus never did anything, fell apart. So 5 weeks ago on this channel, I said, you want me to bring it back? Viewers said yes. Bring back a CR for stimulus because it's been 11 months again and we need money. So we brought it back. And then everything seemed fine until late last week. With $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds, weeks of negotiations, agreement of Republican and Democrats, House and Senate, the president said, hey, it's Joe. Can I have some of that money for COVID? I said, Joe, get your hands off our money. Because remember, $1.5 trillion of discretionary funds is enough for a $2,000 stimulus check. Well, the Republicans and Democrats said, Joe, you're not getting any of the money. Sorry. Have a biscuit. Have some bacon. LA doesn't have it, but we have some bacon. And that was it. The restaurant union tried to get some money because the lobsters were not good. And they were blocked off as well. So guess what? During the State of the Union address, the president said, and I'm going to come back asking for some more money. And I said, did you see the wink in his eye? I think he's watching me. I think he's trying to take our money again. And I was being sort of facetious. I thought he was being facetious. Well, I guess I was wrong. Today, he's writing he wants some of the money. Joe, okay, so I'm going to give you the fact, and also going to give you some commentary. Joe Biden sent a letter off just minutes ago asking for $10 billion of the $1.5 trillion of the money for COVID. Now, he's already gotten $6 trillion for COVID. He wants another $10 billion of the $1.5 trillion. Now, it does not eat into your $2,000 stimulus check, potentially, in the CR. But the fact that he's doing it again, he's been told twice no in a week. And now who is he having? The Congressional Budget Office. Those people that get everything wrong all the time. Write a letter saying, we need some money. And they sent that letter off to Nancy just minutes ago. I have the letter. So my thought, it's not going to happen. These negotiations have been done weeks ago. So it's not going to happen. And they told him twice no. Now, also my commentary. If you really needed a little bit more money for COVID, you could have asked for this like a month ago, 2 months ago. Instead of 1.5 trillion, it could have been 1.55 trillion. I mean, why wait till the 11th hour? This is mismanagement at its worst. I mean, Joe, come on. You know how much money you need. Ask it way in advance. Don't ask it at the 11th hour. Get Brian D.C. stop leaning on the wall at the Yale graduations. Get the numbers ready ahead of time. So the great news is that CR for stimulus is lined up, but you need to advocate across the board. Now, what's the latest update on CR for stimulus 2 and 3.0? I'll have the latest details on that after the commercial break. And the great news is that the next item really lined up right after this is SS300. The opportunity to raise your benefits up an additional $200 a month. What did Jay Powell say yesterday? Which is incredible great news because his job is to fix inflation. But you don't want him to fix inflation too much before your benefits are raised up with a very high inflationary rate right now. All the latest great news about J. Powell and your SS300 after the commercial break. Meantime, shocking. Yesterday's morning's LA, the price of gasoline was 105. Where do you think the price of gasoline is right today? When Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine, it was 100. Breaking news as OPEC and OPEC plus countries had an opportunity to fix the situation in the last few minutes. Did they fix the situation? And what's going to happen in the United States? What's going to happen in countries that we do business with, like Italy, that can't produce a lot of oil? I have breaking news. This is brand new. You're hearing for the first time ever. And it's very important because I can get you $100,000 of rent assistance because of COVID, but it ain't worth anything if gasoline's out of control. Get ready for the breaking news on this. It's brand new. It's after the commercial break. Then we'll be looking at the situation that's unfolding back in the States and will be impacted by not only gasoline, but another industry because of Vladimir Putin's active aggression. And then we'll have an update about Gershon. Covered on last night's Evening's LA, taped before the situation was very clear. Well, the latest update, and it's unfortunately not a good one. And it's unfortunately very sad because the next target is Odessa. And I'll have a preview of what's happening with Odessa tonight on Evenings LA. Our 5 o'clock primetime show, you don't want to miss it. The latest on the battleground and the refugee situation in Poland growing by the minute. How bad is it right now? All the latest. But we'll be looking back at your money and how to get big sums of money. And viewers succeeded overnight. Have you succeeded? I'm going to show you how to get those big sums of money. It's all right here, and it's all happening as Morning's LA goes into its second half. I'll see you back in 60 seconds, but first, if you need some assistance with getting these big sums of money, here's a little bit about the community page. See you back in 60 seconds. As Morning's LA continues direct from Santa Monica, California, live this beautiful day with our prayers and hearts with the people of Ukraine. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now. Oh, and sorry, I guess we were a little staticky earlier. Well, we are better now, and hope your day is good. You're looking at the beautiful town of Gershon, and sadly, it doesn't look that way today. On the latest sad update on what's happening, and a preview of tonight's Evenings LA, you don't want to miss it as we look down the Black Sea to Odessa, Vladimir Putin's next target, and what is happening minutes ago. I have a preview across the land. But first, we're going to go into your big money and the situation unfolding with Brent crude surging out of control yet again during the morning's broadcast. The latest breaking news, then stay to the very end because I'm going to show you how to get big money. You need that big money. And it's third stimulus. Those exciting details coming up in just a second. But I'm excited you're here. Sorry about the stack earlier. Maybe it was, the coffee. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family. You're watching LA, America's most watched financial news channel, in prime time now at 5 o'clock with the #1 most watched financial news show in prime time. Don't miss it. It's called Evenings LA. It's tonight at 5 o'clock. It's a 1-hour special broadcast. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the video. Like the video and become a member. Let's go right into CR for Stimulus 1.0, where we left off. Will Joe Biden be able to take some of that money from the continuing resolution and use it for COVID? No, it's not going to happen. So I need to bring it up to you because the letter's out there. And just because the Office of Budget Management, which was mismanaged last year on this channel, not I didn't mismanage it, they mismanaged it. Just because they were allowed, do I worry about it? No, I just want you to know that he's asking for some money. And it's not a lot of money. It's just some of the money. All right. CR for Stimulus 2 and 3.0. 2 and 3.0 passing together, but the inherent deadline is not really right there at the moment. The House Democrats, led by Aguilar, and the Republican senators, led by Young, say they're going to merge them together, but the deadline is not in front of us. This is an opportunity to give you economic assistance across the board. The real big great news is SS 300, and it's this guy, Jay Powell. SS 300 is the concept of raising your benefits up $200 to $300 a month, lifetime, basing it on a new benchmark, which is called inflation, not COLA. Now, why is Jay Powell part of the equation? Jay Powell is your head of the Federal Reserve. His job is to stabilize inflation, bring it down. And his job is to do it with a series of interest rate spikes over the next 5 months. But you want him to do that after Joe Biden swaps out inflation, COLA, with inflation. Let's go over the brand new breaking news that is wonderful on mornings. Jay Powell yesterday said exactly what I thought he was going to say, but actually even better. Jay Powell basically said, I'm bringing down inflation, but I'm not bringing it down too fast, so don't worry. And I'm monitoring the situation with Vladimir Putin, so we're going to ease into this very slowly. Don't worry. Let me give you the calculation. Let me give you the importance of this. Swapping COLA for inflation raises your benefits up right away because inflation is the highest price point now. Jay Powell's job is to lower inflation. You don't want Jay Powell to lower inflation before Joe swaps into inflation. Because once your benefits go up, you're at the higher level. Once you're at the higher level, you never come down. So inflation's high now, jump into inflation as your benchmark. And you're at that high level permanently. Then Jay Powell fixes inflation, comes down, doesn't impact you because you're already locked into your higher rate. Pretty simple? Yeah. So what was the concern going into yesterday? Jay Powell has to reduce inflation. We can't have inflation high. But when and how fast? And in view of the events of active aggression by Vladimir Putin, what was Jay Powell's options? 5 meetings in 5 months called the FOMC meetings, at which Jay Powell raises interest rate spikes. The options going into the month of February, before Vladimir Putin acted up, was 5 meetings, 5 interest rate spikes, quarter basis points. There was some thought that there may be 7 interest rate spikes, and they'd be even higher. Well, Jay Powell, I predicted yesterday, was going to say, we're going to just do a quarter, and after that, I'm going to leave it sort of uncertain, because I don't know what's happening with Putin. He actually did better, folks. He did really great news. Jay Powell, you want to go out and hug him and give him some bacon. Not my bacon, but someone's bacon. And say, thank you, Jay Powell. He says, I'm doing a quarter basis point, and I'm staying at a quarter basis point for a while, because I don't know what's happening with Putin. Wow. So he not only told us what he's going to do this month, but he also said he's staying with that for a while, because Putin is an uncertain economic event. And we're in a wartime economic environment in which we don't know how inflation is going to be hurt. I don't want to do it too hard. I don't want to come in too hard and drop it too fast. I love the guy. I have more of his comments tonight on Evenings LA at 5 o'clock, in which we go into more detail. Now, back at the pump, the price of gasoline is very important, because guess what? I can get you $100,000 of rent assistance because of COVID, but it could be worthless if your gasoline is $10 a gallon. If you're on the live chat right now, tell me how much you're paying for gasoline today and how much you paid maybe last week. I want to see the comparison and say what city you're in. You're going to see something that is just shocking. And you're hearing this for the first time on Mornings live right now. Let me first tell you why this is important. You cannot have gasoline prices out of control, because everything that we've worked as a family will fall apart. We will have recession. We will have stagflation. We'll have unemployment. And why is gasoline going higher? Because Vladimir Putin's active aggression has now taken Russian oil out of the equation. If there's less gasoline from any potentially country in the supply chain, then the price goes up. Pretty simple. Okay. He's not the major producer of oil or exporter, but he is a player in the equation. Where are the numbers right today? Breathe, breathe. Here we go. If you're in the live chat and you've been watching all the shows this week, you give me your prediction where you think the price of Brent crude oil is right now. Okay, let me give you the recap of where we've been on the last few hours, folks. It's like every 10 seconds it changes dramatically. Yesterday's evening's LA, which was what, 8 hours ago, it was at 107 a barrel. And throughout that day, yesterday, it was 106 to 113. The day before that, it was 101 to 105. The weekend before that, it was 94 to 100. So last night on evenings LA, it was 107 in a day in which it trended to 106 to 113. Where's it right now? 120. Wait a second. We've gone from 107 last night to 120 in just a few hours. Yeah, it's that out of control. So the reason why it's getting out of control is because there are options out there, and the options are not looking better by the minute. Let me tell you the breaking news that happened just minutes ago. The breaking news that happened minutes ago was that the OPEC's and OPEC Plus consortiums met, and they had an opportunity to fix the situation for us. And some of them are our allies, and they did not do it. They refused to take comment from press. They refused to have any live interaction with news reporters. And they basically had a 10-second meeting. What's at issue? United Arab Emirates, which we have been very good with and over the years, has a lot of oil that could solve the equation, but refused to pivot on the situation. Let me explain what's going on. This is brand new. You've never heard of this on this channel before. Let me explain the situation. You produce oil as a country, and then you store it. Well, you only got a storage room that's so big. You got a basement behind the lobster shorts. There's only a amount of space to put the oil, and then you don't make any more because it stored up. So United Arab Emirates has a lot of oil stored, but it can't produce or increase production until it releases the oil it has stored. To get its oil released that it has stored, it has to get permission of the other countries it deals with OPEC Plus. They said, no, you're not releasing any more oil. If they release the oil they have stored, we can bring down the price. The situation unfolding, if we do break up on stream, it looks like we recaptured. Tell me if you can see me okay. Okay, now it says we're okay. I guess it's one of those days. Release some oil. Help me get a better stream going. It looks like we're okay at the moment. The issue at hand is that if the oil was released, the gasoline prices would come down. They refuse to release oil. Here's the problem, is that we as a country can produce more oil, but our partner countries can't because they don't have oil in their grounds. Countries like Italy that we do business with are dependent upon Russia for oil. So now that they don't have Russia part of the equation, what's next? The new data that came in just minutes ago, and this is brand new again on Mornings LA, I'll have more about this on Evenings LA, is that the oil that's currently arriving in countries was bought in early February. So this is not part of the Putin equation yet. You're not going to see the oil shortage until late March because the oil that's arriving on embargo ships across seas of the globe was bought back in February and late January for February delivery and March delivery. And so the situation is we don't know how bad it is just yet in some of our border countries. The opportunity to get countries like Japan and China to release oil to Italy and France has not really worked. And now the situation is unfolding by the minute where Vladimir Putin's acts of aggressions are really economically hampering our neighboring countries. I'll feature more about this tonight, but this is where Joe Biden's diplomacy needs to step in and get those countries like United Emirates to really ramp up production. You need to release some oil. You can't keep on stockpiling it. And then we have opportunities as well. Those opportunities back in the States I'll feature tonight on Evenings LA, but involves West Texas. We can produce more oil to stabilize our economy, but that doesn't stabilize the economies we do business with. Those countries that we do business with are being hampered by the acts of aggressions by Vladimir Putin. And there are countries like Italy. I'll have more about that later on Evenings tonight. Now let's go into the other big news that's really great. Big money. Viewers are getting huge sums of money. And I love my viewers. Viewers overnight got massive sums of money from third stimulus. Have you gotten 10, 20, $30,000 from this channel this week? Well, you should. And I'm going to show you right now. This is the big success of the viewership of this channel. Every time I teach viewers how to do something, they run with it and throw caffeine on top of it, do it better. Here is Lorraine overnight with one of her success stories. This is brand new. You're hearing it for the first time on this channel. I found out, LALATE, that the program I qualify for rent will now pay 70% of my rent for the next 9 years. You heard me right. I say 9 weeks. I say 9 days. She got her rent paid for 70% for the next 9 years because of this channel. Overnight. Oh, what? That's incredible. Lorraine, you are incredible. She then says, it will then, after 9 years, be permanent for the rest of my lifetime. Listening to this channel has helped someone get her rent paid for a lifetime. That is absolutely an incredible success story. What are we talking about? We're talking about cashing checks, and we're talking about third stimulus. We're talking about rent, utilities, mortgage assistance. And we don't care what these checks are called so long as there's lots of them and lots of zeros. And I've been teaching viewers how to get these big sums of money. But you're going to see in today's success stories that viewers have really listened to me when I talk about rounds. I say get 3 to 5 months of rounds. And they're like, yeah, I'll get 12 months around. I'll get a lifetime. Thank you, Ali. Viewers are absolutely incredible. How do you get this money? Get your pen and paper ready. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money. You deserve this money. It's available everywhere. It's city, county, and state. And where do you get it? And what is it? What do you do? Open that membership newsletter. Get a pen and paper ready. Let's go over the details right now. You can reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You must do 3 things. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must do multiple applications. You must do multiple rounds. And rely on that membership newsletter. Have you become a member? The link is on the video. Become a member today. Get that membership newsletter. Get all these incredible sums of money. And then rely on those nonprofits. Now, when you rely on those nonprofits, they pick up the slack when sometimes there's a problem at the city county level. Now, the viewers of this channel, when we talk about rounds, let's go over what we're talking about. When third stimulus became a law in January 2021, my viewers had already been trained how to get this because I had trained them the months before with a little bit of money that was out there. When third stimulus became law, I said, get around 3 to 5 months. Viewers got around about 45,000 that spring. Then they got another round last summer. They got another round last fall. This January 2022, I said, get another round, 3 to 5 months of rent. Viewers heard me, but they're like, yeah, I'm going to get a whole year. Thank you, but I'll get a whole year. And the success stories are just shocking me. You folks are absolutely mind-blowing. You're incredible. Here's Nisi. Nisi got a first round last year, about $30,000. So what did she get last week? She got $10,000 as another round. What did she get 2 days ago? Or no, yesterday. She got another $2,000. So she's getting like a round every 5. She's getting a round like every hour the Brent crew goes up. You know, Brent crew goes up another $10. I'm going to get another round of rent. She's doing a great job. Thank you so much for your continued support. Prayers for good health and well. You should be present, Nisi. Thank you so much. Wonderful success story for Nisi. You can be the next Nisi. Bill Garaciti. Read his comment. This is yesterday. Bill Garaciti. Hey, LA. I got rent paid for a year. Excuse me? A year? Okay. We are really taking this up a notch. We have one person a lifetime. We have one person a year. This is just incredible. You folks are killing it. Thank you so much for your help. I mean, this is huge. These aren't alone stories. Here's Karen Phillips. I'll feature her tonight on Evenings LA. Don't miss that 1-hour special broadcast. The latest details of what's happening in Odessa and the latest on Krishan. But Brian Donahue, look at his comment the day before. He got 5 more months of rent as a second round. Second round. So what was the first round 5 months? So that's 10 months. That's a whole year. Folks, you're killing it. This is how you do it. This is a lot of money, and I want you to get the money. Viewers are cleaning up on this channel. So reach out to all those organizations, including all those nonprofits. And the average viewer of this channel is getting about $45,000. You can as well. Do it right today. Don't sit around and get that money right across the board. You deserve it, and it is available right today. Now, let me go back to what's happening overseas in Russia right now. These recordings are very difficult to make sometimes. As you see that sometimes I choose to show certain imagery on this channel, and I chose not to show certain imagery as well. Sometimes the situation is very fluid, and sometimes the situation is very confusing. Last night on Evenings LA, our 1-hour special broadcast that airs again with a brand new show tonight, we looked at Gershon. Here was how I showed Gershon last night, because at the time of that recording, Russian troops said they had taken the town. It's a beautiful port town, a crown jewel of the country of Ukraine, and Ukrainian officials said that Russia had not taken the town. And while the issue is not so much who took the town or didn't take the town, what was the status of the town at the time? Well, this footage is stock footage of Gershon, and it's likely how Gershon may have looked last week, but today it's not how it looks at all. Gershon has been pummeled, bombed, and desecrated by Russian troops and ammunition. And today, it no longer looks like this. Sadly, Gershon has fallen to Russian troops. The situation is Gershon is a town of 300,000 people, and it has fallen, and it no longer looks like this at all. Tonight on Evenings LA, we're going to feature the next issue at hand, which is the next port town very close to Gershon. It's 120 miles down from Gershon. It's called Odessa. You may have heard about it. It is the crown jewel of the Russian Empire in the 1700s, founded by Catherine the Great. It has the famous opera house, and guess what? A cargo ship, an Estonian cargo ship. You're looking at footage here of not of Odessa, but of Gershon. A cargo ship was sunk just minutes ago. An Estonian cargo ship was sunk by Russian forces called Halt at the port city of Odessa. Odessa is very important because it is the major port city, the number one port city for Ukraine. And if it falls to Russia, it impacts not just that, but so many other issues across the board. The refugee situation growing quickly. 500,000 refugees in Poland and Romania last night on Evenings LA. Tonight, the numbers doubled. So it's very, very fluid situation across the board. Coming up next on this channel at 11 a.m. live on air is our Home LALATE I Stand With Ukraine edition. Watch me live for that broadcast. And then at 3 o'clock is a brand new Afternoons LA. It's brand new and has the latest details on what's happening in Gershon, Odessa, Your Money, CR for Symbols 1.0, the MSCs, and the Build Back Better Act. And then, of course, the major 1-hour broadcast tonight, Evenings LALATE. It has now become the most watched financial show in prime time in America because of the breadth of the reporting. But I want to personally thank you because it's very hard to sometimes do these recordings. It's very hard to show footage of such a breathtaking city that you know potentially at the time of the recording, it may no longer look like that. It's very hard to wonder what is happening and what will happen next. On Afternoons LA at 3 o'clock, I give you my perspective as to where the reality check may be setting in right now. That this is not a 2-day event. This is not a 3-day event. This is not a 1-week event and may not be a 1-month event. This is a very unfolding, uncertain environment at the moment. And there's so many elements to the story. If you have a comment or question, a suggestion of other coverage you want to include in the scope of the reporting, send me a private message. Also, if you have a success story from rent assistance because of COVID or anything like that, send me a private message as well. Keep your thoughts and prayers with families of Ukraine, mothers and daughters fleeing into the borders. Keep your prayers with the men that are staying back to defend their country. Give your prayers for the wonderful people of Poland and Romania who are taking in all those incredible refugees. Now 1 million tonight, or 1 million this morning. And with that, stay informed, stay focused, keep it positive, keep it motivated. Join me next at the 11 o'clock edition, a.m. Pacific Standard Time, of Home LA. I Stand With Ukraine.